Guys, uh, I would say your actual exams will start today. Writing both groups, especially today is the day your attempt starts. There are two reasons. One, normally at this junction, your hope will collapse. When I say hope, irrespective of a preparation, there is always an expectation that you might get an exemption in FR or most likely AF. Largely, that is a general expectation before we start all the time. And in terms of the papers, how they are designed, so the best combination is easy paper, liberal evaluation, which happened in May 20. So this is exactly what happened already. And what's the worst case is tough paper and strict evaluation. This is a nightmare for any student in any paper. Now, some of you might be wondering this could be the case, but the way the paper is done, even the MCQs and everything, you don't have to worry. Tough because I did not add multiple categories. It's not easy. So I'm just keeping it on that. It could be more and also, but I'm keeping it up. But the evaluation for papers like this is a bit liberal because if they're not doing it, it will be a disaster all throughout. The reason being, these papers are tricky for most of the students to handle. Having said that, 60 is not by default. There are some AFM papers where you can get 60 by default, but this is one such paper where you'll definitely score better than what you think. Because the exam, no question will give you that comfort. We discussed in one of the like while we're discussing the strategy, we discussed in one of the aspects where no question will give you that comfort where you can be rest assured that I can score 10 or 12. There is, when you look at the paper, the prima facie looks like it is doable, but when you actually start doing it, you keep getting stuck. You keep getting stuck at multiple places. So this is the nature of the paper. So because of this, I would actually categorize it here. So you'll get, let's say you're assuming 42, with the chance that you can get 47. If you're thinking 45, you can get 50. So this is what has happened universally for all the 2 lakh students, or slightly more, who are writing this exam. Now, when you look at the pattern, FR and AFM together, one thing I can clearly say that audit may not be as complicated or tough as it was given last time. Because I think there is a shift between how AFM was given and then audit. Now, audit was a just like IDT in group 2, in group 1, audit was a tricky paper last time. So, this time, since you already got used to this, even if it is given, probably you'll be used to it. So, let's assume that audit will be manageable, where, where we can increase the baseline to 50 instead of 45. Now, the earlier baseline was 15 FR, 16 AFM, and 14 audit. Now, given the paper, probably the baseline slightly erodes and it goes to 55. So, the audit baseline has to go to 50. This is exactly what we're looking at. You can believe this. Like this is one way of looking at it. Because when I was writing my CA inter taxation, I literally called the invigilator and asked. I think I got a final paper. I just couldn't understand anything. But then when I looked around after 30, 40 minutes, everyone was literally not doing anything. Then I realized, okay, this is where I play. Like everyone just gave up in the exam. They just gave up in the exam. I could see that body language. So I'm like, anyways, I have to sit for the next 2, 3 hours. Let me extract. As I told you, sometimes you fill marks in buckets. You pick up a question, you pick up 10 marks. कभी कभी ऐसा नहीं होता है, you have to fill marks and mugs. Mug में लेके आना है, 2 mark यहाँ पे, 2 mark यहाँ पे, ऐसा खींचना है. So that is that kind of paper. Even after putting my entire mental effort, which is harder than all the 4 papers earlier together, I thought I might get 40, but eventually I got 47. Now, this paper, when I have a quick look, it gives me that feel where you have to, scratch everything. As long as you attempted anywhere between 87 to 92, I don't think more than that would have been possible. So, we can expect 45 to 50 if you have attempted that base. Because if you don't know, it is even hard for it to attempt there. So, above 87 is decent. So, leave it there, or stop preparing for audit, drown in that sympathy, or go back to the exam center at 2 o'clock and rewrite the exam. Imaginary exam, right? I would have done this. Do one of the things. I'm not asking you to do this. If you think that is a better thing, because when people walk out, most of them, they literally decide about the next attempt. Let me get an exam and rank in the next attempt. That's the simplest way to escape what you're going through right now. right? This is exactly how. See, I'll tell you. You think about it. Was there any possibility for others to prepare more than you? You looked at how you are prepared. Did you waste any time? So when even after all of this, if this is it, and you can look around. If this is what it is what it is. Don't have an imaginary scenario that you could have done something else. If you look at a particular cricket team, when the whole team gets out for recently India got out for 47 or 49, what does it indicate? India got all out for 47 or 49 with New Zealand, right? So what does it indicate? Now, when all the batsmen sit in the pavilion, it's not an excuse. The thing is, something is off about the paper. Something is off about the pitch. Something is totally off, right? So at that point of time, what do? You go and focus on the next innings and next paper, and you pull out. So that is exactly what has to be ideally done. So here, the only logical option for you to do something about is focus on the next exam, increase the base to 45 or 50. Now, one thing which you have to understand is ICAI has only two exams. It has only two exams. Group 1 is a 9-hour exam. Group 2 is a 10-hour exam. Right? That's it. 9-hour exam, 10-hour exam. Only idiots drop off in the middle. Because when you're given 9 hours, why are you resigning? It's like if it's a 50-hour match, if somebody says that the first 20 hours I did not play well, what's the point? There are 30 more hours. You understand that, right? So it's a 9-hour exam, a 10-hour exam. If you're writing both groups, it's a 19-hour exam. So 6 hours is not even one third. So if you're giving up after one third, probably this is not the course for you. Probably you're right about writing the next attempt. Because this is common sense, right? When you have a stretch of 19 hours, if you're planning to give up after 6 hours, just 6 hours, right? You have another two third, which is more than half. How can you give up? So ICAI doesn't want people who give up. Even I don't want that kind of people to add those two letters to join my fraternity. The only thing is, given everything, do it for either 9 hours or 10 hours or 19 hours. That's it. For some of you, 6 hours if you have an exemption. Is it clear? Now, if you decide to move forward instead of drowning in sympathy or something, if you decide to move forward, this is exactly how the breakup works. So the first 7 chapters are largely standard based chapters. Standard based. The type of questioning is with reference to a standard, right? So they have to be prepared in a certain way. Maitreya will be helping you. So from the base of 50, you can expect 20 marks. I'm just giving you 20 marks. I think this is a decent number, right? On the entire first 7 chapters, this is achievable. This is possible. So you look at 20. Okay. The next 4 chapters, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we've done 2 cycles here itself. So even if you write 30-40% of the answer, you can get 2 marks out of 4 or 5 marks. So out of 10 marks, I've given you only 5 marks after the 4 chapters together. 4 or 5 is possible. And 12 to 18, these are comprehensive based chapters, comprehension based chapters in the sense that no need of applicability of standards, no need of discretion like professional ethics. You don't have to take decisions. You don't have to say someone guilty or not. You don't have to say according to standards so and so, right? They're plain comprehension based, out of which digital audit and ESG are mandatory questions. Like ICA's weightage are given mandatory. So plus something like group audit is a definite question. Okay, so there are some topics which you can pick up. Already you did that work. So here also out of 20, this is the scenario where you can actually reasonably score well because the questions are reasonably straightforward, and if you write the right points you can score 12. Even if not, you can make it 10. And professional ethics, there is a good chance that it could be 15, 18, 12, whatever, but I just wrote 10 plus. Either way you can score 8, and this will take you to 45. And this is for 90 only. I wrote it for 90 because I wrote the minimum number. So you can just have a look. Is this achievable? Yes or no? Can we do this? This this right? So this is exactly how we are going to get. See, there are people who get 90 in audit, 70 in audit. That also happens. But let's not worry about it. There are people, right? There are a lot of people who get 70s in audit. Let us not think about it. Let us not look into it. We're just talking about 45 to 50. And once again, I'm telling you, this is a 9-hour exam. This is exactly what ICAI does. ICAI doesn't kill anyone. It will tempt you to commit suicide. When they say suicide, giving up way too early. That's what it is, right? What is suicide? Like your life has lifespan has possibility of 100 years. You think about it in a certain way, and you take an instant decision, and you give up. You just give up. This is exactly what ICF forces you. If you are here, this is the moment you need us. This is exactly the moment where you're slightly, giving up the sense. It's not about not writing the exam, just not putting that complete intent. Thinking that even if I put in time, even if I put in effort, you may not get there. Thinking that if I don't get 65 in AFM, my calculation of 150 fails. So all these random thoughts, just leave it to ICF. It will take care of it. If you think you are going to score less, it is all the more reason for you to prepare well and increase your score in audit, right? You understand the rationale? So next checkpoint, we'll have an evaluation after group one. That is the point where we'll stop, because either you write a 9-hour exam, a 10-hour exam, or 19-hour exam. There is no 6-hour exam for ICA unless you have an exemption, right? So exam is not yet over. The game is not yet over. So it's just a innings break. So in innings break, you're supposed to refresh yourself and get started for the next last innings. If you're not doing it, sorry, you don't deserve to be a CA. I'm very clear about it. It's not for chicken littles. It's not for people who cannot have the sense of completion. It is for finishers. You should have the balls and something else to finish it. Okay. So I hope this is clear. In terms of execution, we'll take care of it. Today we have marked professional ethics. The reason being, even if you give 9 hours, it still takes more time. So we'll have early dinner, probably in 10-20 minutes. A dinner will there, and then we'll rev it up. We'll extract the dinner energy out of you, so that before we transition to tomorrow, you know that okay, there is one topic which I've reasonably done well. It also gives us the opportunity to probably have a quick look at professionalism on the exam, which will help you to start the first question. And my 3 will be completely available. I'm there. Manju is there. All of us are there to assist you whenever you feel stuck. You can take our assistance. And over and above this, there are certain things which will be helping you if you feel stuck, because there is a good chance that after 2 exams you might feel stuck. What you can do is we'll keep the file available and accessible to all of you. So whenever you feel stuck, whenever you think that things are going slow, if you take this and go through this index, because when you feel stuck, feeling stuck is a feeling once again. So we need to increase the speed. So when you go through this, you'll quickly get something out of everything. Normally one standard will take so much time, but when you go through this, it will give you a feeling that okay, I got some basic points of the entire module. So whenever you feel stuck, I'll keep it in the center table. You can access this and you can get some insights on this. And also we have the 10% index, which is a bit more detailed than this. You can use that. And sometimes after a couple of chapters or 3 chapters, use one of the MTP RTP and quickly go through a question and answer in 1 hour. Anything MTP RTP suggest answers in just 1 hour. Quickly go through that. That will give you a complete coverage of the entire syllabus in just 1 hour. That is one more point. And finally, I will give you some material doing for MCQs especially. That will increase your accuracy of answers also. The same MCQ may or may not come, but it will help you to write precise points in your answers. And finally, don't forget to go through your own notes, which is very important, whatever you written. And all the more important is your answer sheets. All the exam papers which you have written, whether evaluated or not, go through them so that you avoid those mistakes, so that you'll understand how are you writing in the exam and how can you improve further. Okay, these are the range of things which you can do, and we already gave you the schedule, so we'll also help you to execute the schedule. Okay, so this is what I have from my side. I just wanted to add 2 things for them so that they can complete everything. So how do they complete this 20 thing? What are the essentials?
So yesterday, some of you asked about this. Is it practicable to complete whole audit in these 20 hours? What I would suggest is focus on the nature of the topic that you are going to cover. Mostly in this chapter 12 to 18 and chapter 19 partially, we can go through questions and quickly cover the whole content of the chapter. So focus on these things. Wherein when you are coming to 1 and 7, 8 to 11, focus on recalling the concept. One of these things which I have observed in your papers is when a standard is given, you are not trying to put in the effort to bring out what is the content that is asked in the question paper. You are trying to stay here of the standard. The answer is being asked down here. So try processing the standards wherein you people are doing paper reading. Try to understand the layers of the standards and try to put in the effort to recall them while writing the answers. So, if 10 minutes is allocated to the standards, allocate 3 to 4 minutes to read the index of the standard, and other 6 minutes to look at the nature of the questions that are being asked in the standards, such that there will be completeness in your answer while you're writing the answer. That is one thing pertaining to the standards and other SREs thing. These things don't spend lots of time researching on them. It is easy to research in these things. It takes effort to research in these things. So we choose easier things and spend more time on this, where we will be getting only less marks. So spend reasonably good time, make yourselves comfortable in these chapters, and put in effort in these chapters, trying to recall all the what you call understanding that you have got from your previous revisions and complete these chapters. And one thing is that when you are reading theory, generally we get carried away by some things. Make sure that when you are getting carried away, step out of the place where you are reading. Someone will be available for you. We will discuss something. 5 minutes, you will get refreshed, and we can get back to studies. Make sure that this thing is happening. Don't feel hesitated or something. Come out. We'll have a discussion. We'll close it, and you can get back to study. These are the things that I want to add, and it's doable. We have done it. You can also do it. Pretty
One
easy.
extra thing apart from what my has added. Audit. You remember, it's not a 3-hour exam. Audit is not a 3-hour exam. It's a 24-hour exam, which is starting from now. If you are acting like a dead zombie during the 1.5 day, in those 3 hours, nothing is going to happen. What my was trying to say, you have to get to the core of the standard is, you have to put an extreme mental effort. Audit is the most practical paper. Just because it doesn't have numbers, it doesn't mean it's a theory paper. It's non-arithmetic, not theory paper. It is the most practical paper because half of you will spend half of your life in audit. It is a practical paper. It's a written interview. When you get the question paper, it's a written interview. So put an extreme level of mental consciousness, mental intent. If you're not having that energy, do something to increase your energy. But don't do it passively. Flipping the pages, having an overview is not going to help you. You have to put an extreme level of mental intent for 24 hours. You have this energy, yes, it's marathon. It's a marathon. Please understand. The fail is not required for AFM or FR. For audit, it is absolutely necessary. So, and focus on solving the core problem. Let's say right now you're feeling low. Focus on that particular feeling instead of trying to go and fix the underlying cause. Feeling low is an energy symptom. Get in the bed, drink something, eat something, listen to something, get back. Don't go back and refix AFO. Don't go back and refix FR. Just do symptomatic treatment. When something is not working, symptomatic treatment. Tired, sleep for 10 minutes, come back. Do symptomatic treatment without fixing the long range solution. Hope it is understood. This 24 hours is very, very important. Okay, it's a 24-hour exam. Your exam starts right away. Is it clear? Are we good? Okay, ready for this? Okay, thank you guys.